Welcome to r/AskMen. Today's story. How do you have a one-night stand with someone you just met when there are so many STDs out there, no symptoms, HPV etc.? Aren't you nervous? Not everyone has symptoms like warts. Even if they don't have symptoms, you could catch something, and the long-term precautions of not having sex for some time or symptoms, or telling future partners, how do you find it worth taking the chance for something so casual? Here's the first comment. I wonder about how people do that. Condoms can help decrease the chance of a lot of STDs, but not completely. Here's the next comment. I don't. Which is why I bang known friends and ruin friendships. Here's the next comment. Learn from me. I got gonorrhea and didn't know it. Something like 80% of women don't know they have it. Men sometimes get symptoms, sometimes not. I didn't. Woke up one day and all my joints hurt bad. 911 bad. As my luck would have it, COVID happened at the same time. Went to hospital after hospital till I got admitted into one. Guess who has surgery that same night? Worst pain I have ever felt. Broken bones, sprained ankles and fingers. Literally dropped burning oil on my foot after I turned the stove on too high. I'd rather have my bone snapped in half. I couldn't even sleep. It hurt so bad. No sex is worth that pain. Wrap it up. Or get tested together and move forward. Good sex can wait. Here's the next comment. If you want the reward more than you fear the risk, then you take it. No different than managing risk in any other aspect of your life. Here's the next comment. Or worse, how do you know the other person isn't a psycho killer or obsessive stalker? Or just crazy, out to get pregnant, or get a girl pregnant, or intentionally want to spread STDs? So many risks. Here's the next comment. At this point I expect crazy to be a part of the package. Preventing knocking someone up, and STDs are easily prevented with a condom. I don't know how the ladies reason when they agree to meet some dude off Tinder at their place for the first date though. That stuff is wild to me. Here's the next comment. You wear a condom. To be honest, I just came out of a relationship, and prior to being in one, I was a man whore. I can't wrap my head around how the hell I was so okay with sleeping with so many different women, but I came out of it fine, because I always wore a condom. And if a woman wanted me to not use one, then I made sure she understood that I'm not sticking my wanker in there without a condom. In those moments you do not accept their reasoning, or trust this person, you wear the damn rubber. I don't know how hard you worked for the poon, but I've had many instances where I simply thought to myself, if this chick is letting me bang this easily, and telling me not to wear a rubber, then this probably happened before. Here's the next comment. I've never been able to get my head past that. Add to it, that sex the first time with someone new, for me, is almost never anything special. So, both from lack of effort into attaining them, and lack of desire, I've never done one-night stands. Here's the next comment. First of all, you should wear a rubber. Most sexually active adults have HPV, and a huge chunk of people have herpes without realizing. Get the vaccine for HPV regardless of wearing a rubber. Unless you're using IV drugs, or having semi-regular anal sex with randoms, your odds of getting HIV are incredibly low. I took an 8-hour class on HIV, and it was eye-opening. For a while, I went off the handle. Drugs and girls as often as I could. This period of time messed up my brain and life, but you start to see some wild crap. A huge chunk of the American population is always messed up on something, and they're banging non-stop. Smart and dumb people. Humans ignore the risks if the reward is right in front of them. The problem is crappy people. If you judge someone hardcore for having herpes, you're garbage. If you have herpes and don't tell your partners, you're garbage. There's a huge stigma on STDs, but the reality is only a couple of them are monsters. If we get people to get rid of the stigma, people will stop hiding it. I don't care if you have a cold sore, I'm just not gonna kiss you on the mouth. I don't care if you have herpes, we can just wear condoms. I escaped this crappy period of my life with only getting the clap twice, but I honestly would have preferred herpes over the financial and mental repercussions that drug addiction did. Here's the next comment. I mean, how do you drive your car knowing how many people get in accidents? How do you walk downstairs knowing how many people slip and fall each year? How do you do anything risky? Everything has some level of risk. I get tested twice a year, openly share test results, and play with responsible, like-minded adults who also get frequently tested. Condoms, 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 and assume everyone has HPV and herpes. It's just a matter of who has a visible flare of it. Also use gloves and dental dams. If you are going to have sex with someone, then you should have no problem straight up saying beforehand, my last test was 4 months ago, and my status was XYZ. My safe practices are ABC. I have these limits and boundaries. What are yours? In my opinion, if you can't have that conversation, you aren't mature enough to be having sex. Here's the next comment. Drunk plus horny equals stupid irresponsible decisions. Here's the next comment. I mean, use protection and visit a doctor regularly. It's not like every MF has the AIDS, and any human interaction is going to give you some horrible disease. Just be careful and ask yourself if the person you're intending to bed down is the sort of person to eat off the floor or not, and adjust your choices accordingly. No, that's not hyperbole. I've literally seen people eat off the floor in public and then go home with some random they just met like 20 minutes ago. Here's the next comment. Well, a lot of the times, the one night stand and hookups happen when we were horny and drunk, so a lot of the times, it's not the most important thing on our minds at the time. Plus, also helpful if you have a condom too. Here's the next comment. That's why many people opt for monogamous relationships. Even though the media and social media may let you think otherwise. Being monogamous is safer. Even though cheating may happen, and there are no 100% guarantees, at least the other person could respect you enough, based on the quality of their persona, tell you the truth. If they cheat, or want to break up, because maybe they won't hate you, they just won't love you anymore. Maybe they will still want you to be safe and worry about you in that sense, so they'll take care of themselves and of you by being faithful until they decide to break up and meet someone new, etc. Here's the next comment. Use protection and you'll probably be fine. Also stay away from crazy chicks or crazy dudes if that's your thing. Here's the next comment. I use condoms and get tested regularly. Most STDs really aren't that big of a deal. Even if you catch them, the only big one I really worry about is HIV, and it's basically impossible to get it from unprotected oral, unless you have ulcers or other open wounds in your mouth. The first few times I went to the clinic I just talked to the doctor a lot, and in detail about everything I like doing during sex, how risky it is, how to lower it, and what precautions to take. She's a saint, so now I don't worry about it more than I should. Here's the next comment. I've had a couple of one-night stands. Looking back, those weren't my proudest moments and I didn't consider all the risks. I thought I was being careful. These were not drunken hookups. We talked, laughed, connected, as much as you can in a few hours. In both cases the sex was not that great, but the experience was exhilarating. It was exciting for me as it was something I'd only read about, and I was months out of the most stifling relationship of my life. Those two encounters helped me get my groove back. I think people approach one-night stands differently. For me, it was more about the experience of doing something taboo and exciting, something totally out of character, for the most part. For others, it could be a fondness for anonymous sex. I don't know. Whatever the reason, it's never cool to shame people for doing something most adults do anyway, that is sex, just because the approach is different than yours. Cheers. Here's the next comment. What changes if you know the person? Let's forget about cheating, but your partner can be asymptomatic, even if it's one night, or you plan a long-term relationship, or whatever. It's luck and protection anyway. Here's the next comment. I've been a sex worker since 2002. Because of safe sex practices, I've never had an STI. Honestly, by way of some of the comments here, some of you have no business having sex. Please for your own sake, do some reading. Interact with sex workers who talk about sexual health. We are a legion. But for the love of your fellow bed partners, and to lessen the stigma of my peers, educate yourselves, like yesterday. Then, you have my permission to bang. Here's the next comment. It's a literal dice roll, my guy. Wear rubbers, don't get too spit-faced, and honestly think about the person before you plow. If you get any bad vibes, don't go for it. Ain't worth getting the monkey. Here's the next comment. Condoms and common sense. That one night stand that says they don't like condoms. It doesn't feel natural, or they can't get pregnant. They've said that to every person they've had sex with. Those people that agree to not using condoms, they will agree to it every time to nearly everyone. Wrap up and stay safe. Here's the next comment. Think about the people who wait and then get it due to unfaithful or lying significant others. It's really all about risk aversion per the individual. If it's something you care about, then you will think about it. If not, then you don't. Here's the next comment. Never had one night stands. Not only does it drastically reduce the chances of contracting an STD, it also makes sex intimate, special, and much more relaxed when done only with someone you trust and know. Here's the next comment. Because the chances of actually getting an STD while wearing a condom are not zero, but it also ain't much. In the 60s, before AIDS, banging was like a handshake. Look where all the stuff comes from that tells you your wanker will turn black and fall off if you dare to sleep around, and you will see it mostly comes from holier than thou types and people who hate sexual freedom for various reasons. Protect yourself, don't be dumb about it, and have fun. Here's the next comment. Using a condom is mentioned a lot here, but they are not always 100% foolproof. I've had 2 partners where after finishing, they pulled out, but the rubber was just gone. It was stuck inside of me. I guess this happens if a guy's penis retracts right after finishing. Also, though rare, I have also had one condom split from top to bottom, just leaving the rubbering attached to the penis, and everything else was fully exposed. We only noticed after. So, there are 3 examples of partners who tried to be safe by just using protection and failed. Here's the next comment. Condoms, PrEP, and a little trust. Oh yeah, you'll need to have luck on your side as well. I had a few one-night stands these 2 weeks and I will take an STD test. Not because I'm suspicious, just to be safe and know it for sure. Here's the next comment. In the casual sex/sex positive community, usually people will be upfront about their last test results and recent results with no problem sharing it. Not weird at all. Here's the next comment. Woman here. I think a lot of men don't really care about STDs. Not all men, not most men, just enough that it's not too hard to find one. Here's the next comment. Using a condom helps. And testing. Many people that do stuff like this want and have paperwork from a test to prove their STD status. Getting tested is also way easier than it used to be, especially with online companies, instead of going to a family doctor, which can be problematic. In my experience, some doctors can be judgmental as frick. Even had one tell me about the sanctity of marriage. I was very recently divorced. He was keenly aware. But it is a risk just like anything else. Here's the next comment. By not raw dogging it with every single casual partner you get into bed with, that will get you an infection for sure. In other words, by practicing safe sex and wearing a condom. Thanks for watching.